Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. Today I'm going to be sharing with you again my top 5. And what is it going to be today? You've obviously seen the title, so it's not really a secret, but it is my top 5 highlighters. Now this has been requested and I'm so pleased that I can share with you my top 5 products and for you to enjoy that series, because like me, I love watching top 5 videos because it really inspires me not only to perhaps dig out the products, whatever I'm looking for at that particular time, so dig out what I've already purchased and that's within my collection, but also it gives me an idea of what products are good, because it's okay watching reviews, and I mentioned this actually in my first top 5, so it's okay watching reviews and swatches and things like that, but when someone has shared with you a top 5, it means that this has been tried, it's been tested over a long period of time, and you know, these are good products. And it was really easy this time. I did have a hard time with the eyeshadows. The eyeshadow palettes, it was quite difficult because I have a lot of palettes that I absolutely love, but what I wanted to show in that particular video was that they were eyeshadow palettes that I am enjoying at that particular moment. And I've responded back to a number of you saying, you know, that it was at that particular moment. It will definitely change because, you know, I've got a large-ish, not as large as it was, but a large-ish collection. And, you know, my tastes change, especially, you know, going from spring, summer, autumn and winter. Okay, so this actually, no, I was going to say the same applies to the highlights, but it doesn't really apply to the highlights. I'm actually very fussy about highlights. I don't always wear a lot of highlight. I go through particular periods where I wear highlight every day, and then other times where I'm not really wearing it, and you know, a great deal. But I know what I like. And what I like with highlights in particular is I like a highlight, and I'm talking about the cheek area. I like a highlight that is a little bit deeper than perhaps, you know, someone with my skin tone would wear ordinarily. I do see a lot of people wearing, you know, those really icy highlights, and that's fine. It is all to do with preference and what you enjoy, but I like a little bit of a deeper highlight. I like my blush, my contour and my bronzer all to blend together along with my highlight. Okay, so saying all of that, now moving on to my top 5. Again, they're not in any particular order. These are highlights that I gravitate to and mix it up. So there's not one that I like more than the other. It is just what I like. And in fact, actually, I've put them in size of how they are. So I've piled it up in front of me, and the smallest is first. So the smallest, and I mentioned this to you in, I think, yesterday's video, where I shared with you the lip glosses, my top 5 lip glosses. And these were gift sets that I was given at Christmas time and my birthday, because Christmas and my birthday is very close together. So I was given a lot of these gift sets, and it was a brand that I wanted to try for a long time, but I find that if you're going to perhaps purchase them singularly or full sized, a little bit expensive, because they're not inexpensive but they're not really expensive. They fall in that middle range. And so at Christmas time, when they brought out all of their gift sets, gift packs, whatever you would like to call them, it enabled me to try a lot of products for a relatively, well, for the people who purchased me them anyway, relatively inexpensive price. So what brand am I talking about? Well, the first one is Jouer, and it is the, are they called a particular name? If I can read it on the back. It's just called a powder highlight. I'm just seeing what the name is. Yeah, okay, so the shade that I'm going to be sharing with you, in fact, actually, I'll just show you around the packaging first. So it's very shiny, silver, and I believe the larger highlights are exactly the same. And I really liked that they translated the minis, you know, the minis translated from the full-size products, and I really love it. These look absolutely fantastic on my tabletop. In fact, I've got all of these minis, I've got all of the lip products in a bowl, and I've got these also in my Revolution Christmas gift packs that I've now got all of my makeup in. So these really sit nicely in there. You know, it's not like I'm really embarrassed of the packaging, because some products you get in these gift sets in particular, and you think, oh my goodness, I'm not really liking that packaging, or it doesn't translate throughout the year. It's very Christmas inspired. So really like that. I think it looks very elegant, very classy. I mean, there's even a mirror in there, and I've got that plastic sheet over it. There you go. You can see it's a quality mirror, so it's not cheap in any way. The shade that I tend to gravitate to mostly is called Citrine. So let me just remove that sheet and then show that to you. So this is Citrine. So, sorry, it's quite small and delicate. I mean, to be honest, I think all highlights should be in this size. And yeah, because do we use that much highlight? I mean, I've dug in here quite a bit. You can see that there's a little dent here. So I've used this quite a lot, but I mean, this is going to last me years and years and years. I really love the colour. You can see that it's my classic Samantha shade. It's deeper than a regular highlight. I will swatch it, of course, for you. So you can see that it's not icy in any way, but it is just beautiful, and I just love it. So it's got that peachy pink tone that I absolutely love. These are very high quality. I'd heard so many things about these, so I had to try them, and I was so pleased when I received both of the gift packs. So yeah, I mean, what I could do, if you wanted me to, I could go through all of the Jouer highlights if you were interested in those, but yeah, it just depends really on what you prefer. Like I say, I prefer these deeper tones, so Citrine really works beautifully for me. So that is the first one. Okay, that's the first one. The next one, I have mentioned quite a lot about this one because, and I think a lot of people have mentioned this. So I think what you can get from that is that, you know, it is not only a, you know, it's on a lot of people's favourite list or their top, yeah, one of their top highlights. So you can really gauge that this actually is a good product, and it is the MAC Soft and Gentle Mineralize Skin Finish Highlight. First of all, I really like the packaging, just like the Jouer highlight, very professional, not cheap looking. I just really love it. What I would say with these is that MAC, I just tend to find that each year their prices just go a little bit more expensive. So MAC for me, I mean, I used to buy MAC, you know, I wouldn't buy near enough anything else. MAC for me now is a little bit more of a, you know, I've got to think about it, that kind of purchase. And I mean, there is a MAC store in Gerald's in Norwich, which is fantastic. So I could visit it, but I just find that although their products are fantastic and I love them and they last, I mean, I've had this now a couple of years, I just find that I have to think about it a little bit more because, I mean, I'm never going to get through this, am I? I don't know how much product is in here, but I'm never going to get through it. On the top, there's always one of these plastic sheets. I'm always a little bit like I want to keep things in a pristine condition, so I suppose that's why I've still got that. And then this is the Soft and Gentle. I have used this, and I'm showing you that to see if there's a dent. I mean, I've used this a lot, but there's not even a dent. I mean, you can see the flyaway there at the side. I have used it a lot, and at one point this was the only highlight I used. I'll just swatch it for you. And there is the MAC Soft and Gentle. So that's Citrine, and there's MAC Soft and Gentle. So Citrine has got a little bit more of, I would say, peach tone to it, and Soft and Gentle is a little bit more pink in tone. But you can see that the depth, this is the depth of colour that I like, and it works beautifully as a blush topper or as a, you know, highlight on its own. But really, really love this. I'm going to have to check out the price of this because I purchased this, like I say, a couple of years ago, but it's one that perhaps if I don't really know what to wear, I can always rely on this. When you swatch it, or when you put your brush into it, you do tend to find that bits fly, you know, off it, and it is very shimmery. But, you know, I don't think you need to worry about that. There's hardly a dent in it. I've had it a couple of years and used it consistently. The next one is you're probably, if you watch my channel a lot, you're going to know which one I'm going to talk about next. Of course, it's from my favourite brand, Revolution. The wording has actually near enough rubbed off the top. And what am I going to be talking about? Like I say, you can probably guess. It's one of the Skin Kiss highlights, and this one is Rose Gold Kiss. I initially liked, was it called Peach Kiss? I think it was Peach Kiss, and that was from the original collection where you had the packaging with the gold lid and the mirror. I initially loved that and used that a lot, but then when these came out, this is from the second collection, I believe, this has become a firm favourite and I absolutely love it. It's really the only Skin Kiss now that I gravitate towards, the only one that I really use, and it looks quite deep, doesn't it? Now I think this one is £4. You can see in the middle, I always tend to go towards the middle rather than flattening. I don't want to flatten the starburst. I really like, you know, the pattern in it, and it looks quite deep, but actually on the cheek, so bearing in mind if you've got skin tone like mine, this is going to work for you. They do have an icy one. In fact, I think it is called Ice Kiss. But this is just what I like, and you can see it is very deep, but on the skin it looks beautiful. I don't know if I haven't brought any brushes with me. I'll just tap it on it, see if that works. But oh goodness, I just love this so much. Yeah, even with a finger it works. There you go. Can't blend it out too much because obviously I'm using a finger, but yeah, I just love it. The only thing I would say to this, now I could actually be wrong, and I think these might even be £5, because I remember saying at the time that these launched, you know, that they were the same price as the ones with the mirror in, and I couldn't quite work that out. But nonetheless, I do like the product, but I just think the packaging is a little bit cheap. It's not, you know, I mean, you do get an awful lot of product here, a lot of product. I mean, am I ever going to get through one of these? I don't know. I think it's probably going to go out of date and unusable before I get through all of that. But the packaging just lets it down a little bit for me. I much preferred the gold, you know, lid with the mirror in it. So yeah, when I received and I purchased all of the new collection, I was very disappointed that they didn't have that proper palette. But nonetheless, the product is amazing. The quality is exactly the same as the original, and I can't fault the product. And of course, I like the price. Okay, so that's my first three. Now the next one is relatively new. It is from the Revolution Pro range, and it is the 4K highlighter palette in Rose Gold. I have also got the gold, but I picked that up because I thought, you know, could I get away with gold? I'm not really a gold highlight kind of person. I much prefer, you know, like those peachy or pink toned highlights. And I thought I'm going to get it because I think I got it on from Superdrug when it was or when they had the 3 for 2 offer, so it made it affordable, and it probably was free, but I'm just not using it. I'm using this one. So the packaging looks like this. It's filthy because I do use it. If I see anything on and when people say in their favourites, oh, I love this, and it's not used at all, alarm bells are ringing, because I'm thinking, well, if you love it so much, how come it's not used? Unless if you're like me and you've got daughters that grab a lot of your makeup and then you have to repurchase. That happens to me quite a lot, and I've got 2 daughters, and I've actually got I had to count there for a moment, because in total now I've got 6 grandchildren and 2 of them are girls. So, and they're getting to that age now where they're loving all of the colours. When I mentioned to you a couple of days ago that my eldest grandchild, he's 7, he loves coming shopping with me because he knows that I'm going to be swatching all of the makeup, and he particularly loved it in Kiko when we were swatching all of the glitter eyeshadows. His eyes got so wide. He was excited as me. But anyway, going back to this palette, yeah, I'm not really into the gold. I'd much prefer this rose gold, and you can probably see which one I use, which is this one. Again, this is very much of the same kind of thing as the MAC, where when you swatch it, when you you know, pop it on your, or put a brush in there, little bits fly off. But that does not worry me at all. Yes, it looks a bit messy, but as I said before, you can see that I use it. There's fingerprints all over it with my foundation. But yeah, I absolutely love it. So actually, I really gravitate towards the 3 deeper shades. I will not be using that one. It's not my kind of highlight. If you like those icy highlights, fantastic, but it's just not really my cup of tea. I mean, this one is my favourite, but I do use these ones. In fact, this one, then that one, and then this one at a push, but this one is still a little bit too deep for me, because I prefer to use that one as a blush. So I'll just swatch those. I'll swatch all 3 of those so you can get an idea of what it's like. Just absolutely beautiful. And those are so that's the one that I use a lot of. That one is a duochrome, so you can see that it's like a peach, but it airs on, or it reflects pink, and then you've got that deeper. It's like, again, it's very like a duochrome, as in it's peach with a gold reflect. That one, like I say, is the one that I use for a blush. But yeah, definitely these 2 can be worn as a highlight if you have my skin tone. So that's number 4. Now number 5 again is relatively new. It actually comes in a palette, so hence it's the last one because it is the largest, or comes in the largest palette. And it is from Morphe, and this one I have been reaching for a lot. So the palette, again, I've got all makeup all over it, so I hope it looks okay. So it's from Morphe. It's called the Highlight and Contour Palette. It's their Lo-Fi, so low-fi palette, and it's in 8L. I think if you want the deeper one, is it Hi-Fi or High? Yeah, I think it's Hi-Fi. Mine is Lo-Fi because it's the lightest. These are, I think these are £25 on this palette I'm talking about. You can actually purchase the singles, so it's £25 off the Morphe site. I've looked at Beauty Bay, who have recently just got these in, and for some reason these are £28. So if you want this in the palette form, then I would pick it up from the uk.morphe.com site. All of the links will be down below, but you can you purchase this? I know what it is, and I'll just show you around the outside, and then I'll get more into the products. So this is the palette. I really like this. I have this on my tabletop at the moment. Now this is a highlight and contour palette at the moment, and I have shared this with you, trying it on, but at the moment I'm using up the Obsessive contour palette, because that's what I like to do. If I swap about too much, I never use anything up, and I've hit pan quite badly on the Obsessive contour palette, so I will be using this very soon. But I've got this on my tabletop, which I like to do because I've mentioned before as well that if I put things in drawers, I tend to not use, or you know, I just don't use them. So this is what it looks like inside. Hopefully, there we go. I can't cover the mirror, but I've hidden it, so at least you're not blinded. So you can see the contours. So you get 4 contours and then you get 4 highlights. Now just before this was released, or these were released, there's 2 in the collection, they released some highlights, and these 2 at the top are Lit and Stardust. I thought it was Starburst there for a moment, Stardust. And these 2 you can get in the singles. So Stardust is white, but it reflects pink. It's absolutely beautiful. I've worn it, it's amazing. This one here, and I'll just repeat that, Lit, you can also purchase that singularly, and it's yellow in tone. I'll swatch all 4 in a moment. These 2 are exclusive to the palette. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I prefer these 2. Although, like I say, I have worn this. I don't particularly like a yellow tone to highlight. But I think with these palettes, and what Morphe has done really well is that they've actually put something in here for everybody. And I really like the consistency of the contours as well. I've actually got one of their Brontours to share with you, which I'm sure I'll get around to that very soon. It's just been so busy recently and I want to share so much with you. But yeah, I prefer these 2. So if you like these 2 shades, and they're called Supernova and Cosmic, and I have been using this one the most, but I like them equally the same. But yeah, I really like the quality of these, the contours. They actually remind me so much of the Revolution, whether it's the Renaissance Glow, the contour in there, that kind of quality, and also from the Obsessive contour as well. So it's a very similar quality. Now what I'll do is I'll just swatch all 4 of them, but I'll tell you which ones that I really like. Ooh, let me just see if I can show you that. I hope you can see that. So that one is Stardust, and you can see that in certain lights it looks really white, and then it looks really pink. It is just stunning, and I can wear that because it's got that little bit of pink. Then we move on to my absolute favourite, which is Supernova. So this one is Lit, this one is Stardust, and you can see that pink, that's good. Then we've got Supernova, and then we've got Cosmic. So Supernova is a little bit more peach, and then Cosmic is a bit more golden peach, but nonetheless just beautiful. So really it's either of those that I gravitate towards, but you can see the type of tones that I like. Very peach, very much of a blush topper, but for me they work. They're not like when you look head on you can see that line, and I suppose I wear my blush quite high anyway, so it is more of a blush topper, but yeah, I mean, I'm still loving that Skin Kiss. But yeah, so that's the Morphe. Absolutely love it. I mean, I can't really choose between these and say, you know, one is better than the other, or I like one better than the other, I suppose. They are all firm favourites. And yeah, I think these days it's so lovely. I mean, I think gone are the days where you've got that little makeup bag and you've got one eyeshadow palette, one blush. I mean, highlight, you know, we didn't wear highlight about 10-15 years ago, but gone are the days where we've got one of each. I mean, I've got a large collection. When I go out shopping, I always gravitate towards the makeup. That's what I like the most, as you can tell. In fact, I went to town today. I had to go to the dentist, and I then went round the Superdrug store in my local area, and I walked out with my whole hand covered in swatches. No one bats an eyelid anymore. They obviously know me very well, and they know that I've always got swatches up my arm, absolutely loads of them. When I go to Norwich, I'm always covered, both arms, and yeah, I just absolutely love it. And they're always coming out with something new. So perhaps in a few years' time, we'll have a new product like a highlight that, you know, a few years ago we didn't even think about wearing, and now we're obsessed. So I hope that you found that helpful and interesting to discover what my top 5 highlights are. I would love to know down below what your favourite highlights, perhaps, you know, have you got a top 5? I found it so interesting that also that you are letting me know what you love. I find it just as interesting to hear what other people love as to obviously share what I love. And that is why I always say that my channel is a friendship channel, and I am quite a chatty person. As you can tell, that was what one of my previous jobs was, chatting away, and yeah, you know, it is just what I enjoy. I so enjoy and love talking to you, and I love the response as well. That's why I always encourage you to give me your feedback and your thoughts. So as always, I would love your feedback, I would love your thoughts, and of course, if you have just stumbled across my channel, I would love it if you subscribe to watch further videos. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.